Ow! I forgot that Cody Rhodes was in AEW.
Yeah, well, because I'm vicious circle fire.
Ow! That's good shit, pal.
There will be no safe word.
The main event.
Hello, I'm your host, Ed Felix.
And I'm your co-host, P. Whitty, live in deepest, darkest metropolitan Phoenix suburban area.
That's right. And welcome to the Jobbing Jabronis Wrestling Podcast, or as our friends call it, holy shit, these guys should get a job. And what do we do here, Paul?
We watch this crap so you don't have to.
That's right.
Because you have meaningful lives.
We do know you have meaningful lives, but yeah, that's right. We watch WWE so you don't have to. But you know what? You actually should have watched WWE Smackdown last night because a lot went down. A lot of important matches, a lot of important news, and we'll kick it off with the big time. Most notable thing from last night that was not a match was the meta drama. None other than Michael Cole comes out and announces that Sasha Banks and Naomi are being punished for walking out on the WWE. Not only are they being punished, what's that, Paul?
Not just walking out, letting down millions upon millions of Americans, if not worldians.
Yeah, and you don't want to, if there's one group in the world you don't want to piss off, it's not Al-Qaeda, it's not ISIS, it's Sasha Banks stans. They are one passionate group, and I'm sure they're going to appreciate me comparing them to terrorists.
But actually, I have a theory, Edwin.
Yeah, what's that?
I think she just didn't want to go to Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I believe it. That makes total sense to me.
And next week, Little Rock? I mean, come on. There's 2 weeks that you're going to miss?
I would quit. That's 2 back-to-back weeks of unacceptable cities. Anywho, Michael Cole announces that both Sasha Banks and Naomi are suspended indefinitely. Their merch is no longer available on WWEshop.com. And Cole also announced, very impressively, that they're going to host a tournament to crown the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And my question is, with what tag teams?
He didn't say when the tournament would be.
Couple years.
Exactly.
Give them a year or two, and they'll get more than 2 teams. But with what tag teams? I'm pretty sure Sasha and Naomi are the only official team in the division. Maybe Natalya and Shayna, but now the women's tag division is truly going to suffer because come Monday, Vince is going to throw every woman on the roster into a random tag team.
Yeah. Or, it's summertime now, and in many years, they always like to put the 2 wrestlers fighting at SummerSlam in a tag team and see how they deal. How about a Charlotte and Rousey tag team to be the champions?
Can they coexist?
Can they coexist? Find out.
I can't wait.
Hell on a cell.
I can't wait. I can't wait till they do the angle 10 times where the non-tag team singles champions beat the tag champs, which, they were probably going to do at some point. Maybe that's part of the reason they walked out. Maybe they were going to have Bianca Belair and Ronda Rousey just destroy Sasha and Naomi. But anywho, the only team, as far as I know, that they could actually use and call up is Toxic Attraction from NXT. Maybe that's one of the BS reasons they walked out. There's no actual teams. And I will also say, somebody on Reddit said this, I thought it was interesting. There are literally no women's tag teams, women tag teams on the main roster that actually share an entrance. Sasha and Naomi included. Isn't that wild?
That's a good point. Yeah. Of course, I still think this could all be a big old work anyway. And because I can't imagine they're screwing Naomi, given that she's married to a tag team champ, and she's interrelated with Roman Reigns and all that. And it'd be natural for them to come back 2 pissed off women into the bloodline and they just transition from like kind of like feel good fan favorites to two badass women that want to take names and take no prisoners to be the female bloodline, with Paul Heyman helping them to do some of their talking.
That would be
not
amazing.
that they need a man to talk for them. I'm not saying that, Edwin. Don't put words in my
God,
mouth.
Paul.
And can you imagine them bitch slapping Corey Graves for all the crap he gave them? That would be amazing.
That's gonna be our new intro clip. It's just I'm gonna butcher that clip, and it's just gonna be Paul saying they need a man to talk for them.
That's not what I said, Edwin. Don't get me in trouble.
Just kidding. I would never do you like that.
But wouldn't that be awesome, though?
That would
have
be.
them totally disappear.
That would be amazing.
I mean, it would be like when they had Mustafa Ali in that fake revolution, whatever. But if they did properly, it could be kick-ass.
That would be amazing. I actually saw a theory somebody posted online speculating that it's possible this could be a Summer of Punk type angle where they disappear for an extended period of time. Maybe they crown new tag team champions, build up a couple new teams, and then they just come back out of the blue and raise hell.
Hey, I have an idea. Have him show up in the AEW audience.
Yes, definitely. Maybe even say, like, have them say from the audience, from the stands, hey, I'm allowed to be here. I bought a ticket.
Exactly.
That would be something original we haven't seen before.
And maybe Naomi was very sick of the Dayglow outfits anyway. No, I'm serious.
They're going to put her in a 3-piece suit and turn her heel. That's how you go heel.
No, she's not Cruella. No. Just I don't know what, just whatever. I don't care what they wear anymore. Like that were for Sasha too, for too long I was too worried about fashion and looking good. When really what I wanted to do all along is just kick ass.
That's right. Main people like the boss she is. And
I mean, wasn't that Royal Rumble match that was in Phoenix against was that about Rousey? Where she had technical malfunctions with her outfit, like she had like stuff going everywhere.
That's right.
That outfit cost her the match.
It did. Too focused on the fashion side of things. Should just be
But
maiming
now,
people.
after the summer of glow, they'll come back. The bloodline bitches. And the men and women of the bloodline will dominate.
I would love to see that. You know what else I was thinking? I can't wait for Monday night when they announce or officially book the new women's tag team tournament. And, they're, of course, going to have Natalya pull triple duty and be on 3 of the teams at the same time.
Two of them might be masked. The masked Canadian. And,
Jesus.
That would be bad.
That would be bad.
But, if there was ever a time for Natalya to actually have a title reign, I guess this would be it.
She's about due for her yearly summer mini push. She gets one every year. It's about time.
Hey.
Another thing that became very apparent last night was that Michael Cole clearly did not want to say any of those things about Naomi and Sasha Banks. He looked as uncomfortable as you can be.
Yeah.
And, we all know the announcers have Vince in their ear. He just sounded off. He sounded like he was being held hostage. It's got to be, really hard saying those things about your coworkers, with Vince yelling in your ear, asking you to shit on 2 wrestlers who you've admired for years.
All Vince is probably having an orgasm. Say it! Say it! Say it!
Say it! Say they're not good shit, pal.
And Pat McAfee was there sitting next to him. Like, it's kind of like the schoolboy, like, kind of trying to, I'm glad I don't have to say that crap. Yeah. But I'm a real star, so I don't have to say what he wants me to say. Yeah, I can do what I want.
Pat McAfee also looked incredibly uncomfortable during that, and I felt bad for him because he's had so much fun in WWE, but now he's seeing how the sausage is made, and that can't feel great.
I will think it's a work until proven otherwise. I think it's a total work. Hopefully, as you said, it's like the summer of Punk. They do it right. Don't let Punk come back after a week. Let it actually just build over months.
Yeah.
Create real drama.
That's right.
And then at some point, boom! the bloodline explodes again at SummerSlam or whenever.
I hope you're right. That would be amazing. One last thing we'll say about this Sasha Naomi situation for at least a minute and a half. In what universe does Naomi get punished harder than her drunk driving husband?
In the WWE universe, when your husband is the tag team champion of the world.
This dude has something like 3 or more DUIs, and he just won the tag titles last night, which we'll get to. Well, the other set of tag titles. And Naomi's out here getting publicly discredited by her coworkers for walking out on, a shitty storyline. Well, you have a guy out there, putting people's lives at risk, Tammy Sitch style.
I agree. Again, Edwin, I think it's a work. Until proven otherwise, it is a work.
I hope you're right.
Because they've done nothing. Because again, from what you're saying, they've kind of destroyed the character of the ladies, but at the same time, in some ways, for those that know the situation, they're actually, I think, kind of building them up. Like, you go, ladies. Yeah.
That's interesting.
You got your kick butt women. And that's exactly the type of people that would come back. Oh, you're going to edit that phrase, too. I did not mean that poorly. And that's the exact attitude that they would have, that come back and they'll want to kick someone's ass.
Yeah. I love everything you just said. I love that the only surefire way to make somebody, an over with the audience baby face is to have them shit on WWE.
How about this for a scene, Edwin? Before SummerSlam, Vincent McMahon goes missing. And then it turns out, did you ever see the movie Misery, the Stephen King movie from like the 90s?
No, I was born in 93, so I don't.
Okay, well, Kathy Bates, she kind of kidnaps this guy, ties him up, and like starts cutting off appendages. So that would be Misery. Vince McMahon's Misery. Where Naomi and Sasha, they have him kidnapped. Threatening to cut off his leg. Or even more, cut off his grapefruit.
At some point, there needs to be an exploding limo in there somewhere for that to make sense. By the way...
And then Cody Rhodes saves the day with fireworks.
By the way, we've got a couple people joining us on the stream here. Hobby of Kings, hello, my friend. Nice of you to join us. And we have Victoria Reiners, who I've never met before in my life, but damn does she look attractive. She says, actually give these ladies someone to have a tag team match against and stop giving them a hard time for walking away from terrible storylines. And amen.
We are all for empowering. We're not bad-mouthing them at all, Victoria. We want the same empowerment you do. We want them coming back and kicking ass of the boss.
That's right. That's right. They're going to come back as heels where you can be a face for the people.
Exactly.
Anyhow, moving on to another meta piece of news here. Stephanie McMahon is leaving WWE for an indefinite period of time, and Triple H is returning full-time, which I thought was really interesting because hearing the news yesterday, I kind of assumed, Steph just wanted to be home for the summer, maybe spend time with her kids, spend time with Triple H, who's had a very rough year since last fall. He had a cardiac event, which I assume, means he had a heart attack. So, yeah, I don't know. They're switching. Triple H is coming back. Or, maybe Stephanie McMahon is as emasculating at home as she is on TV, and so Triple H just called back into work.
Or, Edwin, this is what the McMahons would do. Stephanie sees how much this Sasha thing is going over, so she's going to make this into a work too. How they kicked her out of the corporate office too because she's a woman. And who's going to manage Sasha and Naomi when they come back in 2 months?
Stephanie McMahon.
I hope this doesn't happen.
The natural face of the WWE. And
then she'll try to take over the bloodline from Paul Heyman.
That gives me, by the way, Nightmare Collective vibes from AEW. Remember when Brandy was managing some very talented women in AEW, and just kind of went down the shitter, unfortunately. We get, I love this idea. Victoria Reiner's in the chat saying there should be a storyline where Naomi sits Jey Uso down for an intervention.
Well, but to be honest, wasn't Naomi in the car drunk with him during at least one of the DUIs? I seem to believe.
Was she really?
I seem to remember. Now, this is a wrestling podcast, so don't hold me liable for my words.
We don't have a source on this.
I really don't know what I'm talking about, but there's a part of my brain that kind of remembers during the arrest that she was like talked about for yelling at the cops too when they were trying to arrest her man.
I vaguely remember that. Again, we don't have a source at all, but that does tickle something in the back of my head. There's a really weird way to say I just remember something.
Should we like delete this part of the podcast when it goes up on tape so we don't hold ourselves liable for defamation of character?
Do we have any willing legal representatives in the audience tonight?
No lawyers would listen to our show, Edwin.
We'll pay a retainer.
Lawyers listening to our show?
And then the other last piece of news before we jump right into last night's episode of SmackDown. And we'll be doing a full video on this. But Ric Flair has his return match. The Nature Boy stepping back in the ring has his return match scheduled for July 31st in Nashville. Billed under Jim Crockett Promotions. Isn't that a throwback? And I have a lot of thoughts on this, which will probably, comprise a 20-minute video. But I don't know. Part of me thinks the only way this match actually happens is if Jim Crockett Promotions books this match to take place in international waters. That way nobody can get sued, when Rick just dies 30 seconds into the match, which, not trying to be a dick here, it's an actual concern.
Yes, you are. Again, I thought, okay, I'm all for female empowerment. I'm also for geriatric empowerment. Come on, Edwin, why are you holding Ric Flair? Mae Young did a lot crazier stuff in her 90s. As a woman getting powerbombed by the Dudley Boys. If she can do that, Ric Flair can talk people into a ring, walk to a ring, use his elevator scooter thing to get up to ring set, stand at ringside for a 6-man wrestling match, go in, do a couple chops, do a couple woos, expose his 72-year-old buttocks, then get back out of the ring.
I sincerely hope that's all he does. Just give us a couple chops, the Ric Flair strut, and then just walk. Call it a career.
That's all he's going to do.
I am begging the WWE Universe trademark to boycott this match because Ric Flair, this man wants to go out like Randy the Ram Robinson. That's how he's going to go out if they let him. This man, I can already see it. Remember the last scene in The Wrestler? Mickey Rourke playing Randy the Ram Robinson has some sort of cardiac event, a heart attack. Gets back into the wrestling ring because it's literally the only thing he has left in his life. His daughter left him. But the last scene in the movie is Randy the Ram Robinson jumping off the turnbuckle during an ROH wrestling match, and the screen just fades to black. Implication being, this dude probably died. All right. Ric Flair has also had his share. He was in a coma a couple years ago. This dude, he can die in the ring if people let him do this.
Okay, Edwin. Here's proof that Ric Flair is going to end up fine. What is going to be Ric Flair's biggest focus on that night? The match or after the match in his Marriott hotel room? Room 312, ladies. Woo! He's a single man again, Edwin. He is not going to risk that by something in the ring.
That's right. He did just get his fifth divorce very recently.
Did they actually? I forget if they ever actually got married. Him and Fifi.
Maybe not. I'm sure the wrestling media would call it a divorce regardless because it's just a.
But they're still together. They released on They released on Facebook the other day together when she got back from the Ukraine.
Oh, did
yeah. Woo! Hey, Fifi, you just got separated from your man Ric Flair. Where are you going? I'm going to the Ukraine. Woo!
Before we move on, I really do want to say everybody should, in their right minds and hearts, boycott this match. FTR should not do this match. They should not tag with Flair because there's a very serious possibility that if they let Ric Flair be Ric Flair, he is going to put himself at risk of very serious injury, and FTR might have their reputations damaged.
No, FTR respects Ric Flair. They will not let him do anything that will be too bad. You want their young bucks to team with him? They'll be doing, hey, yeah, Rick, you get there. Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, let's do a triple kick. Yeah, let's do all this cool stuff. No, FTR will be totally respectful. They will look after the older.
They're not gonna tell him shit. We're talking about the man who took a 20-foot bump at WrestleMania 22 off a ladder when he was, I assume, 85 years old.
He will be fine, Edwin. Again, he will want to make it to the hotel room after the match. He will be fine.
We can only
let geriatrics have their fun. We can't always be young and vibrant like you.
We can only hope, and we're gonna go ahead and hit a woo and move on.
Woo!
Getting into SmackDown from last night, very memorable episode. We opened the show with a hype package, hyping up the tag team title unification match between the Bloodline and RK Bro. We get the Bloodline coming to the ring, and Roman, of course, asks Grand Rapids to acknowledge him. And then he tells the Usos that he expects them to deliver tonight. And he says he has really high expectations because, you can't just be in the Samoan wrestling dynasty if you don't win every match, even if you have to cheat.
If you lose, you can't come home.
That's right.
What he said.
We cut to commercial as the Bloodline hugs, and nice little detail, Roman smirks toward the camera. Not sure what that was about.
So I thought too when Roman gave Paul Heyman the microphone, that's a difficult word to remember, to talk about the title unification match. I thought for a minute there we were going to get another impassioned description, the most basic idea of a match with what it means to unify titles. But then Paul Heyman cut it short, so I didn't get that.
Yeah, they probably had in there.
And I did have one other quick point about the thing. Like Roman Reigns talked about how he was the greatest champion ever, and he was the greatest athlete on the WWF roster. If he was the greatest, why is he in Grand Rapids, Michigan? I think Brock Lesnar might be showing how he's the greatest.
That's a great question.
Because he only has to go to like the nice cities like Philadelphia and
that's right.
DC, Chicago, the big ones.
That's right.
He's not going to Little Rock, Arkansas.
The only reason Roman Reigns is champion is because Brock Lesnar didn't want to work Fridays anymore. Let's admit it.
Can't blame him. With Sable at home, that's for sure.
We come back from commercial, and our first match of the night is Sami Zayn versus Shinske Nakamura. And Sami's still playing the role of the secretary for the Bloodline. Walks to the ring wearing his Bloodline shirt.
You mean the fake Samoan?
Fake Samoan. We established last week through an in-depth investigation that Sami Zayn is indeed the lost Samoan. Very proud of him for taking that 23andMe test and getting inducted into the Bloodline.
And Samoa Joe must be totally pissed off about that.
I can't imagine. They would never let him in. And here's Sami, pure-blooded Canadian. I'm not even sure what that means, but Canadian just.
But were you amazed by the tension as Shinske Nakamura walked by the Bloodline as they exited the ring? I mean, wasn't that just amazing tension? Because remember, just a few weeks ago, didn't they just totally beat Shinske to like almost a bloody pulp?
That's right.
And like, oh man, they like started fighting, and like, oh, the aggression was amazing, wasn't it?
There were, we'll get to it too, but there were multiple times in this episode where I thought these guys should beat the crap out of these other guys, and they could get away with it. But then they just didn't. And one of those times was Ricochet interfering while Gunther beat up Drew Gulak. But we'll get there when we get there.
Oh, yeah. But Shinske just walked by like puppy dogs on a walk. Ruff, ruff. Oh, I got to deal with a fake Samoan here. Bye-bye.
Anywho, a solid match between these two. Could have honestly been billed as a dream match if it happened during the right year. We also got a nasty looking Michinoku driver by Sami Zayn and Nakamura on the outside of the ring, and I will never not pop for an outside ring spot. Those things just always sound like they hurt like hell.
Yep.
The match ends with Sami Zayn just barely making it back into the ring. Classic spot before getting counted out. And getting Kinshasa by Nakamura as soon as he gets into the ring.
Kinshasa!
with the win for Nakamura. And
well, I did have two favorite lines from this match from Michael Cole. Or one was from Michael Cole, where he actually, and I quote, said, Sami Zayn is one of the best athletes in the world. I'm sorry, I love Sami Zayn. I think he's a great heel and all that, but I would never think of him as being one of the greatest athletes in the world.
The greatest stuntman in the world for sure after that Jackass match at WrestleMania.
And then the other was when Pat McAfee referred to Shinske Nakamura as, I guess, he said that he was an alien of some sort.
What?
And public or PR aware, Michael Cole quickly said, "Oh, Shinske might be an alien, and I know you mean that in the best way possible, Pat."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, re-listen to it. It's really funny because it's like, we're going to get sued here or something.
WWE just committing all kinds of offenses against minorities last night.
Yeah, which he did, which Pat didn't mean to. He meant it as a compliment, whatever his quote was.
I'm sure he did.
It raised, or maybe they have a lawyer backstage next to Vince that's also yelling in their ears, "That's a lawsuit, Michael, say something!" Which nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised.
And before we jump to the next match, we have a time-honored tradition. Can we get a rating for the Sami Zayn versus Nakamura match?
Today is May 21st, and Edwin, today is a very historical day.
What day? Yeah, why is that?
Because 5 years ago on this day, Jinder Mahal became world champion.
That's right.
Of the WWF.
What an honor to have him with us today.
Thank you, Edwin, and thank you to all out there, because I'm sure you are celebrating this great day just as I am. And I gotta say, that first match brought back memories to when I won my only world championship. So I gotta say, that is some good shit, pal. Okay. Back to talk to the Prime Minister of India on the other line. I shall return.
Goodbye, Jinder. We'll see you in a bit. And to answer our fans' question in the chat, Triple H is back, but sadly not in a wrestling capacity. He's been playing the executive role for a couple years, or actually a decade now, with a couple of wrestling appearances every now and then. But as of last month, Triple H went on ESPN and said he is done for good, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. If Triple H is done with wrestling forever, then so should Ric Flair. It makes no sense to me that Triple H cannot wrestle and Ric Flair can.
Now, Edwin, okay, maybe this would be the way I need to deal with you millennial here. Can we just, let Rick be Rick? Huh? Can't we? If he wants to do this? Do you really want to pay for his Social Security? Maybe it'll save you some money, too. You never know. Just let Rick be Rick, okay?
That's more it. I'm just financially concerned, I guess. Typical millennial, socially liberal, financially conservative, you know us.
And you just don't want to talk about the next topic.
I really don't. And the next topic is an in-ring promo. Happy Talk with Happy Corbin.
An interview segment with only one person.
With only himself. We come back from commercial and Corbin is standing next to the Andre the Giant. Happy Corbin.
Happy Corbin.
Standing in the middle of the ring next to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Trophy. And
which somehow has not been destroyed yet.
Yeah. Now, Corbin brags about, sending Madcap Moss to the hospital last week, which insane thing to brag about. And make this one quick. Segment ends with Happy Corbin smashing the Andre trophy, which is sad because I remember last week we were talking about how sturdy that trophy looked.
Yeah, I guess it's not as sturdy as we thought. And he did this while wearing a $12,000 hat.
Insane.
But I know why they smashed the trophy. I thought about that this morning.
Why is that?
I think a lot about Happy Corbin. I have an issue about that. I'm seeing some help. I'm getting some help. Don't worry, Edwin. But think about how many stars have been made that have won that statue? Anyone? Is it really a trophy of stars, or a trophy of like washed up or jabronis? I say jabronis. So what I think they're going to be doing is Happy Corbin, with some of his millions of dollars, is going to fund a new statue. But not of Andre the Giant, because he was kind of humiliated by having that statue in that match. We're going to have the new Happy Corbin statue for the next WrestleMania. So who's going to win the Corbin? You heard it here first, people.
That makes sense to me. They'll just smell down the Andre trophy and turn it into Corbin.
Yep.
And can we get a rating on this Happy Corbin segment from Jinder Mahal?
Well, I don't understand even why they put those two nice lazy boy chairs in the ring if you're not going to have anyone sit in the chairs. How did they get those chairs out of the ring so quickly? I did not figure that out yet. And anyway, an interview. You know what? I was backstage. Happy. You could have interviewed me. I could have actually done something. So I got to say, no, future endeavor, pal. Because if you haven't, you could even just talk to the statue. You're weird like that. So future endeavors. Next time, have an interview with a person. That's all.
How they took the set down so fast, by the way. They just set up the entire set for Happy Corbin or Happy Talk, and they just bring out Bobby Lashley after, and he just throws the couch. The couch is over the top rope. It's easy.
Yeah. I did read on one of the many wonderful wrestling sites out there that gets part of writing Madcap Moss out with the injury is they're changing his look, or they're going to change the Madcap Moss gimmick, whatever. So you might not get the suspender belt look anymore, Edwin. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sad. I mean, when you say they're going to change his look, I just assume they're going to give him a second belt and a second pair of suspenders.
I think I know what the look will be. Do you remember Owen Hart and Coco Beware High Energy in the early 90s?
Yeah.
The totally neon flowing fan. There it is. You heard it here first, folks. And its tag team partner will be Mojo Rawley. Can you imagine? That would be the most annoying tag team ever.
Oh, God. please no more Mojo Rawley.
Don't listen to me, Vince. This is all purely joking podcast. No.
Just like that, we move on to one of my personal favorites of the night. Gunther versus, or I don't know how to pronounce that. Gunther versus Drew Gulak in a singles match. And we get a quick recap of Gunther, doing certain things to Drew Gulak last week. And we'll remind everybody what happened, but Gunther literally ambushed Drew Gulak backstage somewhere, pinned him against the wall, ripped off his shirt, and slapped him in the titty, the hardest I've ever seen a titty get slapped. It was pretty hot, honestly.
But this was after Drew Gulak had a life-changing talk with Ricochet.
That's right.
Remember?
Ricochet set him up.
Yes. Drew, you want to slap your titties too? You just need to embrace your inner self. Do your best. And soon you will have a title like me. Go get Gunther. That's all.
Unsurprisingly.
I think it's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. Unsurprisingly, Gunther just savages Drew Gulak again. Takes him about a minute. No way! Yeah, no, shocker. And after the match ends, Gunther holds Gulak in a brutal-looking Boston Crab, which I thought it was pretty cool that Gunther's new finisher is the Walls of Jericho, or as I'm sure WWE is going to call his new finisher, the Berlin Wall.
Ooh, that's good. No one can tear it down.
Except
for Ricochet, who'll come out wearing a Ronald Reagan mask.
And I really enjoyed when Ricochet ran out to make the save, and he runs into the ring, and then of course Gunther gets off of Gulak, and then Ricochet just goes like this, and he just looks over.
Yeah.
He just looks over at Gunther, and Gunther stares at him for a second and just walks off. But I was left thinking, what? Kick his ass. Beat this guy with a tire iron. Ricochet's mean mugging you. He's gonna walk away.
Or they should just kept the chairs in the ring. The two of them could have sat down and chit chatted about life.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what a Ricochet Gunther discussion would be like? That'd be amazing. Grunt and video game talk.
We were talking last week about how everything Ricochet says in backstage segments sounds like cut footage from old SmackDown versus Raw games on the PS2.
It's true.
Like he doesn't have a writer assigned to him. They just go through the bin of rejected wrestling game dialogue and just give it to him.
Generic talk, Ricochet.
But here's what I think. I think it's super obvious that Ricochet is going to lose his IC title to Gunther. Why do I think that? Because...
Yes. Why, Edwin? Tell me why. Tell me why, please. I would like to know.
Because Gunther, is being built up as a monster heel, as they have with dozens of people in the past. And they had an in-ring confrontation, so now they have to fight. And it has to be for the title. And Gunther is not going to lose to Ricochet. Ricochet is effed.
F is not a button on the joystick, Edwin. Is it A, B, X, or Y that will happen to me?
I'm gonna press circle and walk away from talking to Ricochet right now.
Not the circle. Yep,
but
I'm
hey,
screwed.
Well, I have you, Ricochet. I would love to hear your rating on this match between Drew Gulak and Gunther.
Honestly, this was the most dramatic moment of the night. I could not believe the intrigue brought out when Drew Gulak came out. He is an impressive individual, possibly one of the greatest athletes of our generation. The fact Gunther could beat him was amazing. So I give it good. This is a PlayStation 2 game, so we need to be edited, censored. It was good stuff, pal. And I look forward to a great challenge in the future. Gunther, may the best man win.
Just starts rubbing his title belt as Ricochet.
Yep. Unfortunately, I'm not that articulated with this action figure. I can't actually do that with the action figure, but I can do it myself. Ooh. There you go. Sorry, anyone viewing that. I won't do that again. But I am thinking about starting an OnlyFans account on Instagram where you could find more stuff like that. So we'll see.
Oh, God.
So if you do like that kind of stuff, let Edwin know. Don't let me know, but let Edwin know.
And he has a lot of action figures. He's gonna have a lot of content to put out.
I have a lot of action figures. In fact, I'm working on a book right now, 50 Shades of Action Figures. We'll see if it ever gets light of day, but we don't know. We'll see.
And then we'll gloss right over this one quick throwaway segment backstage with LA Knight, or as we now know him, Max Dupree. And
he's a real close talker.
He really is. He's just talking to Adam Pearce backstage, bragging about he has a contract with SmackDown now or something like that. Completely forgettable.
No, it's not forgettable. He's a CEO of Maximum Male Models. How can this not get over? I mean, no doubt his first client's going to be Buff Bagwell. I have no doubt.
I don't doubt it. And then we get a match that's been a long time in the making. 7 days to be exact. Raquel Rodriguez versus Shotzi Blackheart, or the artist formerly known as Shotzi Blackheart.
But man, I love the segment that set up that match, though. I mean, the drama, because it had my favorite. Oh yeah, of course I'm touching that right there. No, my favorite, Aaliyah, with Shotzi talking trash about why Shotzi locked Aaliyah in the room the week before. And pouty Aaliyah, I gotta say, kind of cute.
I thought it was hilarious that Shotzi just straight up committed a crime. And like straight up kidnapped Aaliyah, so she couldn't make the women's open challenge match, and now they're just bickering about how neither of them got it.
I think they got something to do with Aaliyah.
I think so too.
Pouty Aaliyah, Dent, go with it.
They need more of that instead of having her just talk to lame ass Ricochet backstage. Here's a quick realization I had, or a huge realization I had. Watching Raquel last night. They changed her name.
Raquel?
In NXT, she was Raquel Gonzalez. But now in the main roster, she's Raquel Rodriguez. And
it has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, better ring, but WWE is effed from a diversity standpoint when the name Gonzalez isn't Mexican enough for them. It's either
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's either that or they just don't want her to use her real name anymore because she might leave at some point. But the name's already so similar. Like, why even bother? It's just kind of stupid.
I don't know. And why doesn't she have a better gimmick than doing the Dana Brooks just muscle pose?
Yeah, that's right. She does have the exact same pose. Wait, I think Dana Brooke also does the thing where she stands with her back to the camera. No.
Yeah, she. Oh my. Okay, no. Oh, Edwin. Oh my goodness. What did we start this podcast with? They need a female tag team.
Mm-hmm.
The Posers. Raquel and Dana. Raquel, Dana, it's going to be rad.
And they have stuck Dana in about 10 random tag teams, so that makes sense. But,
and then at some point, everyone will love Raquel beating her when she turns heel.
That's right. And we get Raquel joining the bickering between Shotzi Blackheart and Aaliyah, which sets up a match between Shotzi and Raquel. And
of course, Aaliyah just disappears.
She literally just teleports out of there.
Oh, by the way, whatever happened to Shotzi's tank?
Oh, like from her debut?
In the NXT, she always drove around with that tank. With
budget cuts. They couldn't afford the lease on the tank after hiring Cody Rhodes. They literally cut her tank from the budget the day Cody Rhodes debuted.
But I'm sure a Khan in AEW, if she ever leaves AEW, will definitely buy her a new tank.
Oh, for sure.
And they'll probably bumper tank match at some point.
Something else I thought was really funny during that backstage segment. You know how Raquel likes to say the phrase chingona, which is badass, like a badass woman in Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, she kept saying that a bunch of times, and for whatever reason, it kept getting bleeped by the censor. Like, I don't know if it was like the network censor or something. Just like, it sounded like she was cussing her mouth off. They just kept bleeping her.
Then also, I found it kind of ironic. They called her the Amazon.
Oh, did they?
But Amazon, she'd be from Brazil, but she spoke Spanish.
Yeah, that's a super weak name.
Yeah.
That is weak. Really? That's the best thing you thought of calling her, the Amazon? A, it's already been used, and two, it doesn't even fit her character. Like, big woman, she's got to be an Amazon. God.
Oh, well. But at least, that might not be original, but at least the next match was original.
And what match? What match was that? What went down, Paul?
Oh, I I mean, first off, they had the interview segment with Kayla where she interviewed King Xavier of New Day, and they set up a match. Get this, New Day with Sheamus's group in a singles match because somehow Kofi was on some other New Day business. What could be bigger than the $2 billion Fox deal for New Day? But Xavier is all by himself. But he talked to Kayla and he's gonna do it. Though my favorite part of that interview that had to be as he was walking away, he commented, "Kayla, miss talking to you on Talking Smack," which is so true. Did you ever watch Talking Smack with Kayla?
No, I heard it was good.
It was great, particularly when she was on there with Paul Heyman. I swear, there were weeks I did not watch SmackDown, but I would watch their show because with Heyman, he totally was rude to her, and she's totally kind of the bitch back. Their chemistry was amazing. You gotta watch some on Peacock before next week, Edwin.
I do remember that show getting heated. I saw the clip of when Daniel Bryan and The Miz got into it.
That was before
ago.
Heyman.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about with Heyman and Kayla. That's the closest I've seen to the Brain and Gorilla Monsoon. Where they just bickered back and forth, and Heyman would say horrible things to me. You can tell they loved each. I mean, you can tell they respect each other and liked each other and all that. It was amazing. I was hoping they would eventually host SmackDown or something, but
magical dynamic.
Or maybe they really didn't like each other, and that's why Kayla doesn't do it anymore, because she said, "Get that man away from me." But I don't think so.
She was like, he was not kidding. Get him away from me.
I don't think that's what happened. Anyway, yes, but set up the big match: New Day versus Sheamus' group for the. Wait, is it the first time ever?
For the nothing.
Or 100. Oh no, this is the 100th time ever with Butch.
God, not again.
But okay, but then again, okay, you have one New Day, three. Oh, what's Butchers? I think's the name.
Newsies.
3 Newsies. But then the bad guys decide, wait, there's only one of them. Butch, go out by yourself. When does a heel group do the right thing?
Or an ethical heel group.
Yes.
I did love Butch doing a Sheamus entrance. Down to the floodlights. He was just glowing.
Well, he's Butch.
But Butch surprisingly loses to Xavier Woods, or rather unsurprisingly, because 50-50 booking via roll-up. Butch throws a fit again and disappears into the audience. But
the 24/7 roll-up.
That's right. The 24/7 roll-up. It's a specific, devastating move. But Xavier goes up the ramp, and he actually gets jumped by none other than Butch. He's back.
Okay.
Butch has been found. Great news.
Well, yeah. But but not before risking COVID by going into the audience.
Yeah, that's right.
It did bring it to the audience, and Sheamus and Ridge go on and beat Xavier.
Yeah, you got to spread it to all your coworkers.
See what happens next week.
Yeah.
Though I'm wondering too if this might be down the road, setting up a New Day separation. If maybe deep down Xavier might have been a little pissed off that Kofi would choose whatever it was over helping his friend, his partner, his brother.
I could see that.
King Wood.
Also, Xavier was in some sort of backstage interview segment after, and is it just me, or did he imply that Big E was gonna come back? I was a little confused by that.
Oh, somebody. I don't think it's Big E, because I don't.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's just.
I don't mind Ric Flair wrestling, but I don't want a guy wrestling with a broken neck. So I don't think Big E should wrestle.
Yeah.
I think they're bringing in somebody, but who could that man be?
Yeah. It's just weirdly phrased given the context. The third man. The context of the New Day, that's obviously Big E, but that makes no sense. So I guess we'll see.
Given Big E still had a neck brace last I saw, and I heard his recovery isn't going as well as planned, I don't think it'll be him.
It was probably Natalia, to be honest, in a mask.
Or maybe Brock Lesnar.
Before we move on to the main event, can we get a rating on Butch versus Xavier Woods from our guest reviewer, Jinder Mahal?
I was supposed to be Butch. I can't believe they gave it to that NXT write-off. I would have been a great Irish Butch. So future endeavor, people, and come on, go with some originality. How about New Day versus me and Stinky, huh? We give them a good match. Something new, writers. Come on, New Day. For the 100th time, you can do better than that. Heck, you made me world champion. You can obviously think outside the box, people. Bye.
And just like that, we're on to the main event of the evening. RK Bro versus the Usos in a winner-take-all tag team title unification match, baby.
A unification match.
That's right.
Which means you are bringing the champion from the Raw and the champion from the SmackDown, and you are bringing them together so one team can has all the power. Which, Edwin, I mean, it made me think, with all the crap going down with Sasha and Naomi, maybe doing the title unification, having all the titles in one group's hands, might not be a very good idea.
Yeah.
Irony?
That is actual leverage right there. If you have all 6 belts or whatever it is and WWE just walk out. Until you said that, I was going to say, just give the Usos the women's tag belts too. F it. Just get it done. I want them to have every belt in WWE. I want Roman to win the 24/7 belt and unify that. I want Roman on Monday and next Friday to jump Ronda Rousey and Bianca Belair and unify the women's singles championships too. Get it done.
No, Edwin, no. Because of their deal with $2 billion, they're not going to risk $2 billion by having men hit women on wrestling. First off, what did AJ and Finn Jobber do to deal with the woman in Edge's group? They brought in a woman.
That's right.
Liv. So, yeah, I like your idea, but no, Roman cannot put his hands on Ronda Rousey or Charlotte everywhere. But who could he bring out to do it?
Huh. Somebody that knows how to...
With a grudge.
Huh.
That want to kick some ass.
Huh. Who could it be?
And, wait. What was the original SummerSlam main event supposed to be? One of them against... Bianca, one of them against the other world champion.
Hell in a Cell. Yeah, it's supposed to be Naomi versus Bianca and Sasha versus Ronda.
Wouldn't this set up perfectly?
That would. I think you're onto something.
This is all work, people! Listen to us! Listen to us now! Man, I'm watching my camera. I look just like that guy from Network, the movie from the 70s. Or let me get my microphone in front of me. I'll be Glenn Beck.
Listen to me, people. Listen to me, people. This is all a work.
Okay, there.
Listen to Paul, people. He's been watching wrestling for about 80 years longer than I've been alive. He knows everything.
I was 3 years old. A little baby in Louisiana. Mid-South Wrestling. Someday I'll talk about Mid-South Wrestling on a special podcast. And how I never realized my parents should not have let me watch that stuff as an impressionable 3 and 4 year old. I mean, all the racist stuff going on in that. And I had no concept at the time. Like, I'm sorry, Edwin. A guy with initials KKK, Killer Carl Cox. Should that be a good guy or a bad guy?
It's got to be a bad guy.
Not in Louisiana he was an old good guy wrestler.
Oh, Jesus.
More on a future podcast, though. I digress.
We'll do a future episode on that.
But yes, listen to me, people. It is a work.
It's got to be a work. We get RK Bro making their entrance, and this time they have AR Fishies with them, which look about as good as the CGI in the new She-Hulk trailer.
How much money do they spend on these stupid animals?
$10 a fish, if I had to guess.
And I want a network documentary on the making of what is the thought process for deciding what animal every week comes out of the turnbuckles.
I'm telling you, it's all a symptom of them hiring Cody. all other special effects have, just gone down the sewer. They didn't have the money. And RK Bro comes down to the ring. Something just seemed off to me during their entrance. Like, I think you could almost see the loss on their face. Like, I remember somebody saying that, like, for example, Alexa, you could always read whether she was going to win or lose on her face when she was making her entrance. I felt that from RK Bro last night. And,
Randy's becoming heel. He did one thing.
Yeah, maybe right before the match, Randy got told they're losing the titles tonight, and Monday.
Randy, there was something different about Randy's look tonight than he had been. He shaved.
He did.
No more mild
mustache. No more mustache.
No, he's tired of this silly look. He's tired of playing games. He's tired of being saddled with this guy that makes fish explode out of the turnbuckles.
So random thought, but looking at the tag team titles, they have them on their little pedestals outside the ring. It just makes me hungry. They look like fruit roll-ups.
That's a good point.
And I want some.
Yeah.
I'll also say, what's that?
But I mean, just imagine Randy lost tonight. Riddle's going to lose to Roman Reigns very soon. Randy Orton apparently is going to lose at SummerSlam. After all this losing, what's Orton going to want to do?
Turn heel.
Not to mention, probably, dude, he's going to lose his medical marijuana card when in Vegas. And so the next night, he is going to be super crabby.
R.I.P. RK Bro. I can feel it coming. I will also say my first impression of this match was, Jay Uso looked surprisingly sober. I thought maybe he's saving the party for the drive home. He was in good shape out there.
Or maybe he doesn't have his designated driver anymore.
But a lot happening during this match. Roman and Heyman both interfered in the match because clean finishes are not allowed in WWE, and
except for 24/7 matches.
That's right. And we also know WWE officials and referees are not allowed to tell the bloodline anything, even if they've been cheating for the better part of 2 years, every single match, without exception. I'm pretty confident they've cheated every single match.
Well, but that's what heels do, and Edwin, nothing is going to change until Congress finally does something about the officiating problem in the WWF and stop. And I said, F Panda, come get me. I mean, until Congress acts on this problem, nothing's going to be done.
Yeah, I agree.
And don't leave it to the Supreme Court. Congress needs to act on this.
They do. Anyhow, we get Paul Heyman distracting the ref, as Paul Heyman does, while Roman Reigns tosses Riddle off the turnbuckle during a superplex attempt on Jimmy or Jey Uso. I think it was Jay. So Riddle gets thrown off, lands in the middle of the ring, and Jay executes the frog splash on Riddle for the win. And the Usos have unified the WWE Tag Team Championships.
Which means, Edwin, the WWE Raw Champion and the WWE Smackdown Champion are the same champion.
They are.
And did you see the kids crying in the audience after that happened?
That was beautiful. I initially had a pretty negative feeling toward this match, but I felt really happy seeing the children in the audience crying tears of joy in acknowledgement of the tribal chief and his family's success.
And the 20-year-old white guys in the audience were finishing off their beers and laughing.
Like that was a core memory for those children last night. They're never going to forget RK Bro getting beat within an inch of their life.
But I was actually amazed, like the ending though, after the match, the intensity of the beatdown on particularly Riddle with because the jump off the top rope onto Riddle on the table. And it's like, that was more vicious than I remember the WWF, and I said F Panda, going in quite a while. And I was like, whoa.
That was
this
vicious.
Is actually pretty well done.
Yeah.
And it made me think that they were actually going like a little bit edgier with this group.
It did look like it. The angle itself from last night was, I guess, a little tired, with the cheating. However, the main event as a whole did feel big. Like it felt like something you would have seen on a pay-per-view, and the chaos you're talking about.
Michael Cole said that. Or if it was Michael Cole or Pat, one of them said, "This is like a Sunday night match on Friday night."
Yeah, it felt special.
If I'm a Fox executive and I paid $2 billion for this stuff, shouldn't every Friday night have a special match?
Yeah.
But with the intensity, that got me thinking too about this is all work, bringing the same intensity on some Monday night when Naomi and Sasha come out and do the same thing ringside, same kick butt for whoever they decide upon.
That would be amazing. And I hope they pull the trigger on something like that. But yeah, it felt.
Have Sasha make a little girl cry.
She used to.
Don't laugh.
She used to do that in NXT. Remember, she straight up bullied the Bayley fan girl.
Yeah,
she's got to get back to that.
But speaking of Bayley girl for a second, man, when they turned Bayley heel a year or so ago, whenever that was
actually, I think, 3 years ago.
Okay, pandemic time. I have no idea. They missed out on such a huge opportunity. They should have brought back the Bayley girl and shown how Bayley turning bad turned her life into like a living hell. And like she was like just swearing at her parents, getting F's in school and everything. And Bayley just loving every minute of it.
Just like an ad.
That would have been amazing.
She's got substance abuse issues. No.
But I digress. I don't think I complimented this WWE this much in a long time, but I love that last set, the intensity of it all.
It did. It really felt special. And as much as I think the cheating from the Bloodline was a little repetitive, literally everything else about it I thought was top tier. I'm not used to watching SmackDown and being so hyped up during the last segment. Like that was next level for sure.
I mean, maybe I'm giving the writers too much credit, but it seemed like they're changing the scenery a little bit, and there's something big in the horizon, which I guess will probably mean on Monday, after slogging through 2 hours and 50 minutes of Raw, now we're going to hear from Roman Reigns, and he'll probably get out with his they'll count the titles, 2, 4, 6. Who do you appreciate? The Bloodline. And you will find out our next move on Friday. Good night! But
I also think this match was a testament to what happens when you build people up properly and then just have them go against each other. I know Vince historically hates stables, but man, you can't get angles like this if you don't build stables. You have the Arcade Bro tag team, which I think is the most over tag team since the 90s. They are so over. And the Bloodline is getting booed. Little kids are crying. They're actual heels. They're actual heels, and that's amazing to see.
Down their beers.
Yes, and that is amazing to see in modern day WWE. So props for that. Just immaculately built.
I could care less. I mean, I hated Riddle before he started teaming with Randy Orton, and then kind of the dichotomy. It's like, oh, this is not that bad.
Yeah.
Kind of like on New Year's Eve, I always enjoyed Kathy Griffin and Anderson Cooper. Like individually, I'm not a huge fan of Kathy Griffin, but together, I love their chemistry together. The awkwardness of it all.
They make something good. And can we get a rating on the main event from our guest reviewer, Jinder Mahal?
That match reminded me of the intensity when I won my world championship and all the great world title matches I had when I was champion. Edwin, you remember all those good championship matches I had?
Definitely a lot of my core memories. I treasure those days.
Which one was your favorite? Tell me. Be honest.
Probably the one where AJ Styles hits you with a phenomenal forearm to take the belt off of you.
Oh yes, that was a good match. So AJ cheated to do it. You didn't see he had his fist was loaded when he hit me with that. So, but how can you not? A title unification match, Edwin, bringing the titles of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown together I mean, do you understand what a unification means, Edwin? Oh, that's good shit, pal.
Oh, yeah. You know
that's
it.
good shit.
Some good math in there. 2 belts plus 2 belts plus 2 belts. I
Oh.
think they got like 20 belts
Uh-oh.
now.
Sorry, Jinder. I don't mean to be touching you there. I apologize. Oh.
So
I didn't mean that. I apologize.
we have reached the conclusive segment of our podcast, and we have a 3-2 rating for last night's episode of SmackDown in favor of good shit. So last night's May 20th episode of WWE Smackdown was good shit.
By an inch.
So
that actually makes perfect sense.
Just enough to make it good.
So
usually these Friday shows are dead, so that says a lot. But
hopefully they're setting up for something even better.
We hope so. And just like
Naomi,
that. What about Naomi?
Come home soon. Come home to the bloodline. Bring Sasha with you.
Please do, Naomi.
Make this a work. Go to AEW for a few. Have a good summer. Have some fun. Make some waves. Then come back. Get your products back on the network, on the WWE shop, and kick some tushy.
They're going to do that, but not for the reason you're saying. They're going to go to AEW and then realize the women's division there is actually somehow way worse, and they're going to come back.
Edwin, it's all a work.
I believe
it's
it.
all a work.
I believe.
You want to make a bet?
Yes.
I'll
make a
bet
bet.
you it's a work. I'll bet you an action figure.
Let's.
It turns out not a work. What action figure do you want,
Let's
Edwin?
do it. I'm down.
Not Eugene, but what action figure would you want?
I'll take. Damn.
Not Kamala.
I don't know. I mean, since it's given the context,
okay,
I'll take
Jinder Mahal.
Yes, I will take the greatest world champion in history, Jinder Mahal.
Took too long. I lose. You get Jinder Mahal.
He goes for like $2,000 on eBay, so I'm down for that.
$4,000 in India.
But we'll see. It's a terrific bet. We'll see what happens. And just like that, we have reached the end of the Jobbing Jabronis podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks to the people contributing in the chat. Love talking to you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. We're getting better, funnier, more concise, sexier every week. So make sure to sub, and we'll see you on Tuesday when we talk about Raw and every pay-per-view after that.
And we will survive Raw together.
That's right. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.